3, 1 through 12. For behold, the Lord God of hosts is going to remove from Jerusalem and Judah both supply and support, the whole supply of bread, and the whole supply of dirt, the captain of 50 and the honorable man, the counselor and the expert artisan, and the princes. His children will rule over them, and the youth will storm against the elder, and the inferior host, saying, "You have a cloak, you shall be our ruler." You should not appoint me ruler of the people, for Jerusalem has made me ruler of the people. For Jerusalem has stumbled, and Judah against his glorious presence. The expression on their faces and conceal it. Woe to them, they do not even conceal it. Woe to them, for they have brought evil on themselves. Say to the righteous that what he deserves will.
I kind of got lost in the order of things and joined this morning and reload, and the willingness, frankly, of all of those who I've asked to be my readers since we started. Been with us, Isaiah of Judah more broadly, and the sins of the city of Jerusalem more particularly, and the pattern kind of continues today. The consequences of the sin itself, as we're going to see, or as we actually saw, if we're paying attention to the reading. We'll start with verse 1 of chapter 3. Behold, the Lord God of hosts is going to remove from Jerusalem and Judah both supply and support, the whole supply of bread and the whole supply of water. I think this is an interesting verse for us to consider this morning. Isaiah is telling Judah important things from what is to remove supply. What does that mean? Isaiah tells us what it means in the remainder of the verse: food and water. But Isaiah is telling them, and frankly, he's telling us, is this: the Lord has been the one supplying these basic needs of food and water. He is our sustainer. And remember what we're dealing with last week. Isaiah was pointing out the pride and the arrogance of the people. And here, Isaiah is telling them, you think you are the one supplying even your very basic needs that were grow, is he not? We know what it's like. Lord is bring home the paycheck that pays for the groceries and puts a roof over our heads in the snap of his fingers. Now, supply. He's also going to remove their support of 50 and the honorable man, the things that God is going to remove. And the people, as we discussed in detail last week, they've placed their faith and their trust in many other things instead of the Lord. And Isaiah highlights these as a weighty man and the warrior. People in the army, like the captain of the 50. Remove the honorable, even remove the skillful enchanter. See, Isaiah, all these different people or people groups, right? The Lord is going to remove them all and show them their folly. Isaiah says all these will be removed. A functioning army, a judicial system, a religious system. Isaiah even comments on these away system that has been in place for over 200 years. And I cannot help but wonder if we're kind of falling into this functioning design. Is the Lord kind of removing some systems that we've kind of put up really for these known functioning systems? He shows us how they will make rule over them. And I'm not sure why I've noticed this with you. Often comes kind of this speak to it. And it's hard promising Judah and Jerusalem in response. Look at verse 5 with me. He says this: the people will be oppressed, each one to another. In fact, what he says is, frankly, just the ocean will come from places close to home. Not some far-off government. This is close to home. Neighbor against neighbor. There'll be no respect shown toward our elders. In fact, the opposite exists with youth storming against. By the way, our culture does not show the elderly any of the respect that they've earned over all these. Sad, really, right? And Isaiah tells us that the inferior will rise up against the honorable. In other words, what we may have done in the world, kind of reminds me of the cancel people who have done amazing things based on a singular mistake or offense committed or perceived to have been committed. Maybe you say to me, but Pastor Tom, they did something offensive. They deserved to. I would say this. Who are anyone? On my worst day, you'd cancel me. What did he who is without sin and then noticed